Epictetus, The Art of Living, the classical manual on virtue, happiness, and effectiveness. In The Art of Living, the classical manual on virtue, happiness, and effectiveness, Epictetus, a foundational figure in classical philosophy, delivers practical guidance on living a life filled with happiness, tranquility, and personal satisfaction. Born as a slave, Epictetus rose to become a leading Stoic philosopher. Following the principle that philosophy should be accessible and provide tools for navigating everyday life, he imparted his teachings through engaging lectures rather than dense texts. This summary will explore Epictetus's philosophy, which teaches that happiness comes when we stop trying to control the outer world, cultivate inner tranquility, and live with a sense of duty and purpose.
Life Lessons from Epictetus. Epictetus, a Greek philosopher born in 55 AD, believed that philosophy was a way of life and provided practical advice for living a fulfilling life. His teachings emphasized the importance of taking responsibility for one's own thoughts and actions, recognizing what is in our control and what is not, and accepting the world as it is. By focusing on our inner character rather than external circumstances, we can achieve peace and contentment. Epictetus believed that true freedom and happiness can only be found within ourselves, and we must strive to live according to our values and principles, regardless of external pressures or distractions. The life and philosophy of Epictetus. Epictetus, a former slave, became a leading Stoic philosopher in ancient Rome. He emphasized the practical application of philosophy to achieve happiness. Though he avoided writing, his teachings were transcribed into the Discourses and summarized in the Enchiridion, which provided accessible and entertaining insights. His philosophy was popular throughout the Roman Empire, influencing even the Emperor Marcus Aurelius. The Power of Stoicism. Stoicism emphasizes focusing on controlling oneself rather than the uncontrollable world. Have you ever had a terrible day where everything seems to go wrong? According to Stoicism, all those external events have no bearing on your internal state of mind. Stoics make a clear distinction between the inner and outer world. While the outer world includes circumstances out of our control, the inner world focuses on our thoughts, feelings, and reactions. Happiness comes when we stop trying to control the outer world and focus on the internal instead. We tend to desire what we think is good and avoid what we consider bad. However, often these things are out of our hands. Stoicism encourages us to accept the world as it actually is and adjust our emotions accordingly to avoid despair. For instance, death is inevitable. Our perception of death is up to us. We can view it as a terrifying thing, which can lead to endless angst, or we can accept it as a neutral fact of life, which allows us to experience the world free of existential dread. Stoicism teaches us to start small, shift our perception of events, and control our reactions. For instance, holding a fragile object that you cherish can be a small exercise in Stoicism. Suppose the object shatters. You could let this minor tragedy tear you up inside. Or, you could see it as a minor setback and be thankful you had the object for as long as you did. Stoicism emphasizes focusing on controlling oneself rather than the uncontrollable world. Purposeful Living. Epictetus believed that finding purpose in daily tasks is essential to living a fulfilling life. Rather than seeking grandiose acts or higher callings, we should approach each moment with a sense of duty and appreciation. By noticing opportunities and resources and finding joy in everything we do, we can be the source of our own satisfaction. Live in harmony with the world as it presents itself and always act with a sense of purpose and duty. The Freedom Within. The story of the Greek philosopher Diogenes teaches us that inner tranquility can be achieved by living free of outside influence. The key message is to cultivate inner peace by accepting the world around us and living a principled lifestyle that suits our unique needs. True freedom comes from discipline, will, and self-mastery, achieved by approaching the learning process with steady patience. The path to achieving your goals. The summary discusses the importance of having defined goals and pursuing them with dogged determination. The author stresses the need to have a clear direction and objective and to create a plan to achieve your dreams while committing to the endeavor. The summary offers concrete pieces of advice from Stoic philosopher Epictetus, including practicing restraint and selecting friends and role models that support your goals. Do you know who you want to be or accomplish in life? Having a goal is just the first step to achieving it. However, to succeed, you must pursue your passions with committed dedication. Epictetus offers advice to aid in achieving your goals. The Stoic philosopher suggests practicing restraint, avoiding idle chatter, rejecting popular entertainment and casual sex. You must create a plan that outlines your path and commit yourself to it, with half measures being insufficient. It's also important to carefully select friends and role models who support your ideals and ambitions, and challenge you to keep striving towards achieving your goals. Don't allow outside influence to sway you off course, and don't be satisfied with simply pretending to be who you want to be. Instead, commit yourself to becoming the person you want to be. Your role in society. Our lives are defined by the network of relationships we have with others. It is our duty to fulfill our roles in society, even when we may not like the obligations they bring. Who we are is a complex question that goes beyond our name and personal feelings. According to Epictetus, we are defined by the roles we hold in the intricate network of relationships we have with others. As individuals, we play many roles: sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, citizens and countrymen. Fulfilling these roles may come with obligations that we must learn to endure if we want to live a virtuous life. The world we live in is structured by countless relationships that exist regardless of our personal prejudices or inclinations. Epictetus believes that we must treat everyone in our lives with respect and courtesy, from close family members to distant relatives and even strangers. If someone we know has faults, we must see them as complex individuals, acknowledging their shortcomings while recognizing their other qualities. Our relationships with others are the foundation of our existence, and it is crucial to avoid overly individual thinking. We must recognize the people who help us along the way and share our success with others. In the end, fulfilling our roles in society is our duty and our contribution to the divine order that provides structure to our lives. The Virtuous Path. Discover the Stoic philosophy of virtue, and learn how to align your actions and beliefs to find internal tranquility and happiness. Virtue is often perceived as an old-fashioned term that conjures up images of religious piety or eco-conscious living. However, for the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, virtue is a process that emerges as one aligns their actions, beliefs, and moral code. Happiness and virtue go hand in hand according to Epictetus, and one cannot be achieved without the other. Rather than follow strict religious doctrine or a universal set of rules to lead a virtuous life, each person must discover their own sense of virtue by examining themselves and the world around them, and philosophy can aid in this quest for wisdom. To become more virtuous, one must first approach the world with humility and wonder, setting aside socially ingrained understandings and academically taught knowledge to see reality clearly and be introspective. One must think deeply about what matters most to them, distancing themselves from societal expectations of success and the opinions of those around them. By trusting their moral intuitions and letting them guide their actions each day, internal desires eventually align with one's ideals and everyday behaviors reflect these beliefs. It is a process, and just like walking every day improves walking, striving for virtue each day will advance one closer to living a virtuous life. In summary, living a virtuous life means aligning actions and beliefs according to personal ideals, which leads to internal tranquility and happiness. Virtue is a process learned through deep thinking, humility, introspection, aligning actions and beliefs, and following moral intuitions.
Epictetus's timeless teachings in The Art of Living offer invaluable insights into leading a fulfilling and virtuous life. By recognizing the distinction between the inner and outer worlds, we can learn to control our thoughts, feelings, and reactions rather than attempting to control external circumstances. To lead a meaningful and enriched life, we must cultivate inner tranquility, act with purpose and duty, and develop our own sense of virtue by aligning our actions and beliefs with our internal moral code. As we strive to live a virtuous life, we can find happiness in every day, even amid the most mundane and ordinary tasks.